In the frozen heart of the planet, every second could be the last. Here, survival is a constant challenge, and every movement can mean life or death. Pode significar vida ou morte. Today, we will explore the secrets of the wild Arctic. Welcome to the Arctic, a wild land where the biting cold and the solitude of vast ice plains are the only companions of the creatures that inhabit this immense and unforgiving landscape. Habitam esse cenário imenso e implacável. Here, survival is a daily battle against the elements, the biting wind, the endless nights, and the extreme temperatures. But even in this desert of ice, life persists, and every year, one of nature's greatest spectacles unfolds. Maiores espetáculos da natureza se desenrola. Thousands of caribou, with their hooves adapted to walk on the ice and their thick fur, begin an epic journey. They cross desolate landscapes, facing cutting winds, treacherous rivers, and hungry predators. But what drives them to keep moving forward, step by step, is something they all have in common: the fight for survival. And you, what would you do if placed in such a cruel and merciless environment? How would you face a world where survival depends on every second? The tundra and its inhabitants. The tundra, a vast and desolate territory of ice and snow, at first glance seems like a scene of total desolation. The soil, rigid and covered by a thick layer of snow, appears to harbor nothing but the relentless cold. But beneath this frozen layer pulses life, adapted to resist the harshest environment on the planet. Here, small rodents like lemmings dig underground tunnels to protect themselves from the ice and find food. Although small, they play a vital role in the ecosystem, serving as an essential food source for predators like Arctic foxes. Who silently patrol the snow, always on the lookout for prey. The Arctic foxes are, in turn, a remarkable example of adaptation. Their fur, as white as snow, is not just camouflage, but a true armor against the biting cold. Their paws, covered with dense fur, allow them to move with agility on the ice, while their eyes, always alert, watch every movement on the tundra. Amid the frozen landscape, the muskox, with its imposing body and thick fur, finds the strength to survive. They move in herds for protection against predators, facing fierce winds and temperatures that test even the strongest. Feeding on the scarce grasses and lichens that emerge beneath the snow, these prehistoric-looking creatures are a symbol of nature's resilience. Did you know that lemmings, although small, are a key piece in the Arctic food chain. What do you think would happen if they disappeared? The Great Caribou Migration. When winter arrives with its rigor, it's time for the Great Migration. Thousands of caribou begin their epic journey, crossing the vast frozen plains in search of something vital: food. Their hooves, adapted to ice, strong and resilient, cut through the frozen ground, while their thick fur protects them from the frigid temperatures. The migration is not just a movement, it is a fight for survival. With every step, they face biting winds, snowstorms, and treacherous terrain. The relentless search for lichens, essential food for their survival, requires a resistance that defies the limits of nature. But the fight for survival is not only against the elements. Along the way, predators like wolves, who hunt in packs, wait for the right moment to strike, seeking out the weakest and most vulnerable prey. The journey is long and arduous, and the caribou know that every step is a test of endurance, a race against time and the harshness of winter. They travel in large herds, a united group that ensures greater safety, as the strength of the collective protects them. The caribou migration is a true demonstration of resilience, of how nature creates survival strategies that seem almost impossible, but somehow work. Can you imagine the courage of the caribou facing so much danger and adversity? What do you think is more challenging in their migration, the predators or the natural elements? Predators of the Arctic, the fox and the wolf. In the vast frozen desert of the Arctic, survival is not only about resistance, but also about strategy. Among the most skilled hunters of the tundra are the Arctic fox and the wolf. Two formidable predators who have mastered this unforgiving environment. The Arctic fox, with its fur as white as snow, is not just a camouflage master, but also a clever and relentless hunter. With its paws covered by a thick layer of fur, it moves with agility on the ice. Silent as a shadow, its sharp vision and keen sense of smell help it detect prey hidden beneath the snow, like lemmings, which are a vital food source during the harshest winter months. The fox not only hunts with precision, but it also possesses remarkable intelligence, capable of finding food even when the snow covers everything around. But the true master of survival in the Arctic is the wolf. Adapted to the extreme cold with its thick coat, it lives in packs that hunt together to ensure food for every member. The wolf's strength lies not only in its physical endurance, but in its ability to coordinate group hunts. The subtle communication between pack members and the way they surround their prey shows that, in the Arctic, unity is crucial. In their constant search for food, wolves face immense challenges. But their ability to hunt as a group gives them a better chance of success. These predators not only face the elements, but also rely on a vast knowledge of the terrain and intelligence to hunt with precision. Every movement is calculated, every step a survival strategy. Have you ever imagined how intelligence can be such a powerful weapon for survival in the Arctic? What do you think is the greatest advantage of hunting in packs, like the wolves do? Marine life in the Arctic. Beneath the thick layers of ice that cover the Arctic Ocean, a surprising life thrives, adapted to the extreme conditions of this frozen environment. Marine life in the Arctic may seem invisible at first glance, but it is vital to the balance of the global ecosystem. The beluga whale, with its bright white color and unique vocal abilities, is one of the stars of this frozen world. They form family groups that communicate through sounds traveling through the icy waters. The beluga, as a social and ecological link, plays a crucial role in the dynamics of Arctic marine life. It adapts to the intense cold and the constant search for food. Like small fish and invertebrates, swimming skillfully in the frozen waters. Meanwhile, seals and walruses face their own challenges. They depend on the ice to rest, give birth, and hunt. Arctic seals, with their thick layer of fat, are experts at swimming in freezing waters, diving in search of fish and mollusks. But the ice, essential for their survival, is quickly disappearing. Forcing them to seek new habitats where competition and predators increase. Walruses, with their imposing tusks and robust bodies, are also part of this incredible survival network. They face a world where ice is key to their protection, but with the accelerated melting, they find themselves in a constant struggle to maintain their existence. Did you know that the beluga whale's communication is vital for its survival? How do you think the loss of ice will affect species like seals and walruses? Dundvo, but climate change and threats to the Arctic. The Arctic, one of the most extraordinary ecosystems on the planet, is facing a threat that could forever change the way we know it. climate change is rapidly altering the delicate balance of this frozen place, putting all creatures that inhabit it at risk. The ice layers, which for millennia have served as a protective shield for countless species, are melting at an alarming rate. Global warming is accelerating the thaw, irreversibly altering both marine and terrestrial habitats. Seals and walruses, which depend on the ice to rest and give birth, are being forced to move in search of new safe places where ice is still rare. The same happens with polar bears. Who, without the ice, cannot hunt their prey, like seals. But the impact goes beyond marine creatures. Caribou, who travel long distances in search of food, are facing new difficulties. The melting ice is altering their migration route, and the food that was once protected under the ice is now harder to find. The climate that once supported them now challenges them at every step, making their survival journey even more difficult. The Arctic crisis is not an isolated threat. It is a reflection of the global changes that are affecting the entire planet. The melting of the ice impacts sea levels, directly affecting coastal regions worldwide. With each degree of temperature that rises, the Arctic gets closer to the point of no return, and with it, life as we know it in this frozen place. Did you know that the melting ice in the Arctic not only affects the animals living there, but the whole world? How do you think changes in the Arctic might impact global climate? The future of the Arctic. The Arctic, with its frozen vastness and unique ecosystem, is at a decisive moment. The fight for survival for the species that inhabit this land of ice has never been harder. If the ice continues to melt at its current pace, what we know today as the Arctic could disappear irreversibly. But there is still time to change. Global awareness of climate change has never been more important. The future of the Arctic and all the living beings that depend on it is in our hands. If we do not take immediate action to reduce our carbon footprint and protect natural habitats, we risk losing forever one of nature's greatest treasures. Every action counts. The Arctic is not just a distant place. It directly affects the balance of global climate, marine life, human populations, and biodiversity on the planet. If we want to ensure that future generations can witness the grandeur and beauty of the Arctic, we must act now. Have you ever stopped to think about how the destruction of the Arctic could directly impact your life? What if future generations never had the chance to witness the aurora borealis? the muskox, or even the polar bears. What are you willing to do to ensure this doesn't happen? The Arctic is asking for our help, and time is running out. Let's be the generation that takes action, not the one that merely watches the disappearance of one of the greatest natural mysteries on Earth. The Arctic is more than a remote place. It is a symbol of nature's resilience, but its fight for survival is a lesson for all of us. If we do nothing, it may disappear, taking with it a unique and irreplaceable ecosystem. Change starts with each one of us. Let's act before it's too late.